specifically the Macy Day Parade. This is another example. If you have ISIS actively trying to recruit people in Minneapolis, then how can we let down our guard regarding the borders? How can we have proponents that are saying that we should try to, and we should maybe give driver's license to people who are not citizens? How can you have someone like a Marco Rubio where, as much as they talk about amnesty and they talk about the fact that, trying to make things easier and they should be able to vote, they never want to really talk about the national security issue that we have. And I think when you have the fact that 6 men right in Minneapolis are actively recruited and trying to join ISIS, that should be part of the argument against illegals right there. Let's go out to Dale, who's listening on WTMA in Charleston. Dale, you're up on the Savage Nation. Hello, Dale.
Good afternoon, sir.
Hi there, Dale.
Thanks for taking my call.
Very welcome.
Here's the thing that people don't realize. Now, granted, a percentage of these undocumented are doing work that people don't want to do. They're working in the dairy industries, and they're working in farming and things like that because, those are places that don't really check immigration documents very well. They're paid a very low wage, and the problem is once you legalize this 11 to 12 million people and get them out of the quote-unquote shadows, as the president puts it, they don't have to do those jobs either, and they're going to move right into mainstream jobs because they don't have to fly under the radar anymore. They're just going to continue to take more jobs, and now you got the drawdown of the military, and as it stands right now, unemployment rates being what they are, you're just going to create a whole bunch more workers for jobs that don't exist.
Well, thank you for the call, Dale. You're exactly right. Another problem that comes up, and that is in law enforcement. I was just reading a story where those from the Middle East complain that they're constantly being profiled here in the United States, where U.S. sees terror prevention as the headline. Some Muslims see profiling. Yet when you have the situation with the 6 individuals in Minneapolis that I just mentioned, that were actively trying to join ISIS, and we're looking to hook up with them and even travel to train with them. These are not individuals of, they always try to point to, the other side always tries to point to, say, like a Timothy McVeigh type, and try to say the terrorists could be everywhere. But a group of young Minnesota men conspired to sneak into Syria and join ISIS by any means necessary. Group of friends, ages 19 to 21, were arrested in Minnesota yesterday. They were not confused young men. They were not easily influenced. They're focused, intent on joining a terrorist organization. Who are they? Zakira Yusuf Abduram, 19. Adran Fahara, 19. Hanad Masta Musi, 19. Khalid Ali Omar, 20. Arrested in Minneapolis. Also arrested in San Diego after driving their hopes of crossing into Mexico. Adaram Yasin Dad, 21, and Muhammad Asif. Look at this. They're trying to cross into Mexico. You have the group of 6 trying to travel to Syria. This is never brought out by the mainstream media. Look at how people are just coming over the border. And then at the same time, it's not your imagination. You do have people actively in this country looking to join a terror organization. And I think don't you think this has to be played out in the race for president? Doesn't it matter to you, whoever the candidate is you're going to support, and where they stand on this? And as much as they try to cloud the issue, 1-855-400-SAVAGE. This is John DePetro sitting in for Dr. Michael Savage. This is the Savage Nation.
Join the Savage Nation. Call now, 855-400-SAVAGE, 855-400-7282. Savage.
My Savage Nation is sponsored by SwissAmerica.com. It's the only company I trust to protect my wealth.
This is the Savage Nation. This is John DePetro sitting in for Dr. Michael Savage. If you'd like to join the program, dial us up today, 1-855-400-SAVAGE, 1-855-400-7282. Rita is listening to the program on KBET in Las Vegas. Rita, you're up on the Savage Nation. Hello.
Hello.
Hi, Rita.
Thank you for taking my call, sir.
Welcome.
I am an American of Mexican ancestry, and I just wanted to say that I am fluent in Spanish. In fact, Spanish was my first language. I was born here in the United States, and my parents were born here too. But Marco Rubio, in my personal opinion, is nothing but a wolf in sheep's clothing. And the fact that he now supports what President Obama is doing via executive order is nothing new. When he ran for the Senate in Florida against Meek and Christ, I heard what do you call them, debates
Yes.
on Univision. And at that time, he said the exact same thing that he said about the amnesty, that we have to go ahead and give these people amnesty. That is why when he became senator for Florida, he joined hands with Schumer and McCain and Lindsey Graham and the whole gang that wants to legalize all of these illegal aliens.
Could you ever support him, Rita?
No, I would not, sir, and that's why I'm calling in, because I want people to know that this man is not who he represents himself to be. This man is nothing but the Hispanic version of Barack Obama. He'll tell you anything you want to hear to get elected.
Thank you for the call, Rita. Let's talk to Ron, who's also listening on KBET in Las Vegas. Ron, you're up next on the Savage.
By that name. But in the meantime,
Yes, sir.
Rita said everything so eloquently. She should be running for senator. It's unbelievable that she said it perfect. Nobody could have. Hillary Clinton couldn't even come close to what she just said. But in the meantime, I'm calling up to say just about the same thing, that our borders need to be blocked up, because I know so much here in Las Vegas. If you knew what I knew and the FBI knew what I knew, they would wake up and they would take their feet off their desk and they would get out and start working.
In what way, Ron?
Well, there's a lot of things. You see, this town has about 193 different kind of countries here. So it's, in a way, if you know the right connections and the right people, you can hide.
Could you support someone for president who is in favor of illegals getting voting rights and or a driver's license?
No, what she just said about Rubio, I believe her, man, because you see, like.
All right. That's all I'm looking for. Thank you for the call, Ron. What about you? If you're listening right now, if this is tossed out in a debate, wherever you may be listening to the program right now, could you support in this race, and it's going to be someone, unless there's some change on the Democrat side, against Hillary Clinton, even though Rand Paul is talking about this blockbuster book that's going to be coming out. It's not out yet, but it has to do with the Clintons, the amount of money they receive with cash and donors and people overseas. But could you support a presidential candidate who's in favor of voting rights and also driver's licenses for people who are undocumented, who are illegally? 1-855-400-SAVAGE. 1-855-400-7282. I could not. I think there's voter fraud as there is. I think there's far too much voter fraud in some of these early voting states that give people the opportunity to vote multiple times. I wish someone would take a stand instead of just trying to cave and get in line to benefit from that. How about the fact that when Border Patrol agents checked a bus passenger paper at a checkpoint, they did a double take? Did you hear about this story? So you have a bus passenger, hands the Border Patrol driver's license, identifying himself as David, a 34-year-old man. Along with the driver's license, he had a birth certificate, Social Security card. There was one problem. David The person with the license, birth certificate, was not the person on the bus that had the papers. David was a fellow Border Patrol agent, where his identity had obviously been compromised. This is how brazen people have become. 1-855-400-SAVAGE. 1-855-400-7282. What is in this blockbuster book about the Clintons? We'll talk about that. You're listening to the Savage Nation. This is John DePetro sitting in for Dr. Michael Savage. Check out our website, michaelsavage.com. A lot more ahead. You're listening to the Savage Nation. Savage Nation, this is John DePetro sitting in for Dr. Michael Savage. If you'd like to call into the program, why not? 1-855-400-SAVAGE is the phone number. 1-855-400-7282. That is Senator Marco Rubio talking about, he basically backs President Obama on immigration and amnesty. Mark on line 2 is listening on WDRC in Hartford, Connecticut. Mark, you're up next on the Savage Nation. Mark.
Thanks for letting me voice my opinion. So I always crack up when I hear that term that illegals are doing the jobs that Americans don't want to do. It's not so much that, because think about this. Who would really want to go into plumbing? It's one of the most disgusting jobs that you can participate in. But you know what it is? It's the pay and sometimes benefits. So it's not so much the jobs we don't want to do. It's working for the least amount possible. So here's my observation at 55. Throughout the decades, and I'm going to say majority so I don't get in trouble, the majority of people who have the biggest problem with illegals in this country are conservatives. Now, being a contractor for 37 years, I would say most of the people I work on the high end. So when I walk into these homes that are more than $500,000 on up, these people are doctors and lawyers, they're business owners, they're big contractors, let's say. Who do you think utilizes illegal immigrants the most? Whether it's personally at their home, we have a big joke, a couple of the guys that work for me, we always go out of our way to speak to the housekeepers. And, we try to entice them with working in our own homes. So, of course, we can't afford housekeepers. And I'll be honest with you, we all know they're working underneath the table. And these people who decide to hire them, they know it. The landscapers, we do the same thing on some of these really big homes. They got 3 or 4 or 5 guys out there for hours.
Mark, but Mark, you only seem to look at it in terms of work. It's a lot more than that. It's also you say who's against it. It should be anyone that pays taxes. Don't you understand? It affects the schools. When's the last time you had to take someone to go to a hospital, and how long did you have to wait in the emergency room? How about police? How about the accidents? Because people that don't have a license that are here illegally, you're looking at you're wrong because you're only looking at this one way. Do you understand?
Well, I understand your point, but if they weren't making money here, if these people didn't take advantage of them, so again, these wealthy people, they would have no business. Well, I wouldn't say they have no business being here. They wouldn't want to be here, and they wouldn't want to drag their moms and dads and kids or whoever else with them.
Well, thank you for the call. You can't just say these wealthy people, and there are plenty of them that come here that actually don't work. I think you seem to have a one-sided view with this, and it seems to be, the homes of people that you're doing work in. As far as who would want to be a plumber, try calling one on a Sunday or a holiday, and they tell you it'd be $70 to come out and fix something. I think there's plenty of people that would like to be a plumber. Annie is calling on line 6. She's in Louisiana, listening on KAOK. Annie, this is John DePetro, and you're up next on the Savage Nation.
Yes, in my opinion, that's all we have to do is take down the fine on the statute of liberty, and people of the United States can let in who they want to let in and deport the ones they want out. But that sign says everybody's welcome, and that's not the way the people want it.
No, and that's not the way it's ever been, and that's not the way it should be. And Annie, as far as, the Statue of Liberty, if anything, that's how long ago was that? I mean, think of now how many people are actually coming. They're coming south of the border. They're not coming in through New York, or they're coming on expired visas.